Yeah.
So, talk to us about your feelings on the newer car in NASCAR. I know you don't race any, but you have to have somewhat of an opinion on it competition wise. Could you see it coming to ARCA one day? Or
I don't see that car being in an ARCA car ever. I really don't. I think the extent of what could possibly happen is us trying to get those bodies to fit onto our race cars. But I do not see that happening because I do not see those cars trickling down to a level in which they would be affordable. And honestly, I think if they tried to push it onto the series, it would just be the death of the series. I don't think that. I actually think there's zero opportunity, zero chance of that happening. And if it does, I just can't imagine it happening because there's just I'm the biggest owner in the series by a pretty wide margin, and I wouldn't be around if they decided to do that. Like that would be that'd be the end of racing and at that level. So I don't foresee them doing that. But as for the car, I think it's great racing. I really enjoy the car. I think it looks good. Um, yeah, I'm cool with it. I don't know if I love the whole spec everything, to be honest. I like the way the race car looks, but the whole spec everything is, in my opinion, it's dumb. I'm sorry, but this isn't just about race car drivers. It's also about the teams, and you're taking so much of the team out of it. I mean, I think that's one of the things F1 does well is the teams can be the teams, and I don't like what we did there. I think that teams lost their identity.
I see what you mean.
I
So,
have a
what's the biggest race you've won?
As an owner,
Yeah, and driver.
well, a driver, I won Salem. That was my biggest win in the ARC series. And then as an owner, gosh, well, this is gonna sound a little braggadocious, but I've got 83, 84 of them now. So I don't know if I could pick one that's the biggest one, but Daytonas are always they're top of the line. There's a few that really jump out. Daytonas are very dear to my heart, even though it's probably the most luck of any place. But then I look back and there's a couple Chicago wins that I had, and that's my hometown, that were really important. And then we had a Rockingham win with Joey Logano that kind of put us on the map, and that was kind of so that was probably the most influential to the company.
Yeah, that's a two-time champ right there that you raced
Yeah.
against.
Yeah, that was one of our drivers. That was like our first. That really was probably our first driver development driver was Joey, and for him to be a two-time champ's awesome. But you look through the Cup series, and I think right now we have 12 or 13 of the full-time Cup drivers drove here. So, I mean, William Byron was here, so yeah, we've won a lot of races, and we've won some championships already in the Cup series. Hopefully, a lot more to come.
And if a certain incident hadn't occurred years ago, there's a chance Logano would have been a three-time champion today.
Joey's had he's either way two times is pretty darn awesome, and he's a good racer, and he's a smart racer, and he shows up on game day, man. So he's all skills in the world.
how was his skills back when he raced for you guys?
He was phenomenal. He was phenomenal. You know the special ones when you see him. Like you don't have to wonder who's special. At least I don't have to wonder. I know who when I got him. I know which ones have the shot to be Cup drivers. I always refer to them as Sunday drivers. Which ones can be Sunday drivers? And he could be. You knew immediately he was a Sunday driver.
Yeah, for sure. Have you ever intentionally wrecked someone or no?
Yeah, of course. Every race car driver has. Yeah. I'll tell you right now, I've never spun someone out to make them hit a wall on purpose, ever. I've spun someone out on purpose. And never did they hit anything. Because if you really know what you're doing, you spin someone out all day long and them never damage their race car. Like that's short track racing. But I never once did anything to make someone hit a wall. I don't know why. I worked on my own stuff. At the time we were kind of poor racers. Like we didn't have a lot so I wasn't going to have someone crash their stuff. But I'd send someone spinning through the grass. Don't get me wrong.
Yep, and I'll admit that back in my karting days, I've had a couple moments where I spun someone out intentionally.
So I
It
have
feels
Everyone
good in the
has, but
moment. It feels good in
everyone
the
probably has. They just don't like to admit it. They'll probably get in there. If they tell you no, they're lying.
so I have to know out of the drivers you currently are dealing with, who is the next NASCAR driver that you see on Sunday racing?
The last one that was here, or the ones that are here currently.
The ones that are here currently, who's got your eye?
Jesse Love has definitely he's got Sunday possibilities. That's a possibility. I got a couple others that I think are there too, and then I got some new ones coming this year that I don't have an opinion of yet because they haven't raced with me much, you know. But I've got another two or three really young guys that I need a little bit more time with to know. But there's you know, we just had one leave last year who was with us for a few years. There'll be a Sunday driver, which is Corey Heim. Corey's a Sunday driver, you know. And I got a couple more coming. Like Chandler Smith was here for a long time. Chandler's a Sunday driver. So there's definitely a handful of them still yet to come.
Yeah. Who's your biggest racing hero?
Well, if I want to be like, my personal favorite was always my dad because he was my dad. As for like just being a fanboy, I was like Kelly Yarbrough. Like that was my guy when I was a little kid. And as I grew older, I gotta be honest, I don't think I was ever a fan of anyone. I just always liked watching good races. I was never a Ford guy growing up because my dad drove Chevrolets. And then now I'm to the point, I root for the kids that drove for me and all the Toyotas. That's basically what I root for.
That's cool. My hero is Jamie McMurray.
Really? That's not an answer you hear very often. And I like Jamie. He's a really nice guy. I haven't had a lot of dealings with him, but he's always been a very nice guy. But that's not a common answer.
I know, right? When I first got hooked into NASCAR, Jamie had won a couple races at Talladega for Roush, and then he won the Daytona 500, and that's what made me a fan of his.
Gotcha. Justin, who's your favorite?
Bobby Bonnie is my favorite retired driver, but Chase Elliott is my favorite active driver, and that leads into my next question. What do you think of Chase Elliott's injury, and what is your policy for all your drivers while they race for you? How much fun can they have, and you know, all that?
Okay, so it kind of works differently as you go through the ranks on how it needs to happen. But if I was a cup owner and I'm paying these drivers large salaries, they're not skiing during the season, period. And every other sport has stuff in their contracts that limits their athletes. And if the owners don't want to take charge enough and get that get that handled, then they deserve any of the crap they got to deal with, because that's just poorly written contracts, and they all need to get their stuff together, because I think they need to start treating these drivers like athletes, because they are. And Patrick Mahomes is not going skiing during the middle of the Chiefs season. He's not doing it. He's sitting there on his couch when he's not playing.